I wake up in a hospital bed, 3 broken ribs, a punctured lung, a machine doing the breathing I can't, and the first thing the nurse tells me before she checks my IV, before she adjusts my oxygen, is that my sister was here for 20 minutes. She signed a form saying she wouldn't pay for any of this, and she left while I was in surgery, while a machine was keeping me alive. My name is Acacia. I'm 29 years old. I'm a nurse. I know what punctured lungs look like from the other side of the bed. And I'm about to tell you the story of how my own sister tried to kill me for $1.15 million and how I made absolutely sure she lost everything. Stay with me, because this story doesn't just get darker before it gets better. It gets worse in ways I never saw coming. The accident, 0:45 to 3:30. It's a Tuesday night in March. I've just finished a 12-hour shift at the Millbrook Community Clinic. Flu season, short-staffed, the kind of night that makes your feet forget what comfortable feels like. Route 7, winding 2-lane blacktop through the Connecticut hills. I've driven this stretch 1,000 times. It's muscle memory. It's nothing. I come up on the first sharp bend past the old covered bridge. I press the brake. Nothing. I press harder. The pedal sinks to the floor, like stepping into mud. No resistance, no response. I pump it once, twice, 3 times, and there's this sick, hollow feeling, like the car has simply forgotten what stopping means. 45 miles per hour, downhill curve, guardrails closing in. I yank the wheel, right? There's no shoulder. There's gravel, then metal. The car hits the rail, and the world turns into noise. Glass, steel, and then 3 cracks inside my chest, distinct, like someone snapping dry branches. I feel them before I hear them, then quiet. I'm hanging sideways in my seatbelt, blood in my mouth. A paramedic's face in the broken window, lips moving, words I can only catch in pieces. Punctured lung, 3 fractured ribs, stay with us. And then, just before I lose consciousness, I hear someone say, someone already called her sister. I hold on to that sentence like a lifeline. In the dark behind my eyelids, I think, Margot is coming. I'll be okay. That was the last time I trusted her. Waking up alone, 3:30 to 6. I come out of surgery 31 hours later. The ceiling is white, hospital tiles, those ones with the tiny holes in them, hundreds of little dots. I count them, because there's nothing else to look at. No flowers, no cards, no jacket draped over the visitor's chair. A nurse comes in, mid-40s, dark hair, reading glasses on a chain. Her name tag says, Colleen Brady, RN. She checks my vitals, checks the drain tube in my side. Has anyone been here? I ask. My voice sounds like gravel. Colleen pauses. Not long, just a beat. But I've been a nurse long enough to know what that pause means. Your sister came in the first night. She was here about 20 minutes. She signed the financial release form. Then she left. I don't know what my face does. But Colleen pulls the blanket up over my shoulder. A small thing. A nothing thing. It's the first gentle touch I've felt in 2 days. That night I call my father. He picks up on the 4th ring. I can hear it immediately. That loose, fuzzy quality to his voice. Gerald Sinclair, somewhere past his 3rd bourbon. Hey, sweetheart. Margot said she's handling everything. Dad, I'm in the hospital. I had surgery. Right. Margot said you're doing fine. I hang up, and I stare at the phone in my hand, and understand, maybe for the first time in my life, that I am completely alone in this. The truth about the break line, 6 to 9:30, Day 3. Danny Oakes walks in with a paper bag of donuts, and something on his face I've never seen before. Danny and I went to college together. He's a mechanic now, the kind of guy who shows up when other people don't. He heard about the accident and drove straight here. He sits down, puts the donuts on the table, leans forward, elbows on his knees. Acacia, I need to tell you something. He went to the impound lot, wanted to see the damage for the insurance report. The brake line didn't wear out. He stops, looks at me. It was cut. Clean cut. Someone used a blade or a snip tool. There's no way that happened by itself. The room tilts. He took pictures. He'll send them to the adjuster. Who had access to your car that night? Before the accident? And there it is. The question I don't want to answer. Because the night before the accident, I was at my parents' house for dinner. The car sat in the open driveway for 3 hours, and Margot was there too. The money, 9:30 to 1300. Day 4, 9:14 a.m. Margot calls. Her voice is warm, musical, the voice of a woman who hosts dinner parties and never burns anything. Oh my God, I've been meaning to call. Things have been insane with the gala. How are you feeling? I have 3 broken ribs and a punctured lung, Margot. I know. Listen, have they said when you'll be discharged? I need to know for planning. Planning. She hasn't asked what the surgery was like. She hasn't asked about my pain level. She hasn't asked if I can walk to the bathroom. She's asking about a timeline, so she can manage the story. That afternoon, a woman I've never met walks into my room. Leather briefcase, silver-streaked hair, the kind of quiet authority that makes the air rearrange itself. I'm Helen Ashford. I managed the trust your grandmother established. She sits down and tells me something that changes everything. 2 days after my accident, 2 days, my sister called her, not to ask how I was doing, to ask about the incapacity provisions in the trust. If a beneficiary is declared legally incapacitated, the other beneficiary can petition for temporary control of their share. Most families, when someone is in the hospital, they ask about medical care, Helen says. Your sister asked about the money. The trust is valued at $2.3 million, split equally. My share, $1.15 million, is scheduled for distribution on my 30th birthday, 11 months away. Helen closes the folder and looks at me straight. In 9 years managing this trust, your sister never once asked about your share. Not a single question, until you ended up in this hospital, and I feel something shift inside me. Not the ribs, something deeper, something underneath. Building the case, 1300 to 2000. I'm going to tell you about Margot's real life, not the Instagram version. 5 years ago, she married Brett Whitfield, real estate developer. Big smile, bigger promises. She moved into a colonial on Maple Ridge, 4 bedrooms, wraparound porch, the kind of house that says we've made it before you even reach the front door. Then Brett bet everything on a development called Ridgeline Estates, 22 luxury homes on a hillside outside Millbrook. He borrowed $1.8 million. The project stalled, permits tangled, investors walked, the bank sent letters, then more letters. Margot found out when her credit card declined at a restaurant in front of 3 of her charity board friends. That night, Brett sat across from her at their kitchen island and said 6 words. Fix this, or I'm done. And Margot looked around her life. The wraparound porch, the gala with her name on the program, the friends who called her Mrs. Whitfield, and she understood. Without money, Brett leaves. Without Brett, the house goes. Without the house, the friends go. Without the friends, she's just Margot Sinclair. From a drunk father's house on the wrong side of Millbrook. My $1.15 million, 11 months from distribution, was the only number that could save her. My sister didn't try to kill me because she hated me. She tried to kill me because her husband told her to fix their money problem, and I was the easiest fix. Now let me tell you what Helen's investigator found. The evidence. 20 minutes to 26 minutes. Helen retains a private investigator, Ray Kendall, former state police, the kind of man who talks in facts the way other people talk in feelings. He spreads photographs across June's kitchen table. The brake line, severed with a cutting tool, not corroded, not frayed, cut. Then a second photograph, a receipt, Home Depot, Danbury, one set of automotive brake line cutters, purchased 3 days before my accident, Visa card ending in 4471, registered to Margot Sinclair Whitfield. I stare at it. $34.99. That's what my life was worth to my sister. $34.99. Ray isn't done. He pulls security footage from the neighbor's Ring camera. It partially captures my parents' front yard. At 11:47 p.m., the night before my accident, a figure walks from the house toward the driveway where my car was parked. Build, clothing, consistent with my sister. One more thing. Brett Whitfield called Margot at 11:30 p.m. that night. The call lasted 11 minutes, 17 minutes before that figure appeared on the camera. An 11-minute phone call. Then someone walked to my car in the dark with a $35 tool and took my brakes apart. I push back from the table. My hands are steady. My voice is steady. Everything inside me is screaming. Helen opens a second folder. Brett also purchased nitrile gloves. Same receipt. Same trip. $34.99 for the cutters. $7.49 for the gloves. $42.48. The full cost of trying to erase me. The gala, 26 minutes to 38 minutes. The Millbrook Country Club, May 17th. White tablecloths, crystal glassware, hydrangeas in silver urns, 200 guests in cocktail dresses and sport coats, holding wine glasses like props. Margot stands at the entrance in a crimson gown, radiant, warm, practiced, the performance of a lifetime. I walk through the front door at 6:45. The room doesn't go silent. That only happens in movies. But there's a ripple, a pause, a few heads turn. Margot sees me. For 1/2 second, a fraction of a moment nobody else catches. Her face does something honest. Her smile falters. Her eyes widen. She looks like a woman who just heard a noise in an empty house. Then the mask snaps back on. She crosses the room with her arms open. Oh my God, Acacia, you came. Everyone, my sister is here. This is what family looks like. She hugs me. I hug her back. She smells like Chanel and hairspray. I lean close to her ear. We need to talk privately. After your speech. I feel her body go rigid, just for a second. At 7:30, she takes the stage. She talks about the scholarship fund, the food bank, the community garden, beautiful, polished. Then she pivots. This has been a difficult year for the Sinclairs. Some of you know my baby sister Acacia was in a terrible car accident a few weeks ago, but our family came together. We supported each other. I was at the hospital every day, sitting by her side, praying for her recovery. She pauses, eyes glistening, every day. She was there for 20 minutes, once. I sit at my table, face completely still. Colleen Brady is 3 tables away. Helen invited her as a guest. Colleen sets her water glass down with a quiet click. She looks at Margot the way a surgeon looks at an X-ray, because Colleen was there. Colleen knows exactly how many times Margot visited. 10 minutes after the speech, I catch Margot's eye. I tilt my head toward the side lounge. She follows me in. The room is quiet. Leather chairs, frosted glass doors. Through them, the ballroom is a soft blur of voices and light. I take the envelope from my clutch and set it on the table between us. Open it. She slides out the single sheet. I watch her eyes move line by line. The brake line report, the Home Depot receipt, her credit card number, the Ring camera timestamp, Brett's phone call at 11:30 p.m., her calls to the bank, her calls to the psychiatrist, all of it. 12 neat paragraphs. Her hands start to shake. Not a lot, just enough. This is insane. You're making this up. The police have the same document, Margot? Helen filed it last week. Her head snaps up. I'm not here to destroy you, I say. I'm giving you a choice. Walk back out there and tell the truth, or let Helen and the police handle it. Margot's eyes fill with tears, real ones this time, raw and panicked and ugly. You've always been jealous of me. Jealous? Margot, you cut my brake line. There's nothing left to be jealous of. She grabs the door handle and erupts. She pushes through the frosted doors into the ballroom. With the paper in her hand, tears streaming, voice pitched high enough to cut through the string quartet. My sister is attacking me. She hired a lawyer to destroy our family. She's lying about the trust, about everything. 200 people. Forks pause midair. Wine glasses hover. I step out behind her. I say nothing. Margot spins toward a crowd, playing to them the way she always has. The gasping, wounded performance of a woman wronged. She's trying to steal Grandma's trust. She's the one who's unstable. Ask anyone. Silence. The terrible witnessing kind. Helen Ashford rises from her table, buttons her blazer, walks to the center of the room. With the calm of someone who has been in courtrooms for 30 years. Mrs. Whitfield, I'm Helen Ashford, trustee of Francis Sinclair's trust. Everything in that document is verified, documented, and has been submitted to the Millbrook Police Department. If you'd like to continue this conversation publicly, I'm prepared to do so. Margot wheels toward the VIP table. Brett, tell them she's lying. Brett Whitfield looks at his wife. He looks at 200 faces watching him. Then he looks down at his plate. He doesn't stand up. He doesn't say a word. A chair scrapes. Colleen Brady stands. Her voice is clear and level, filling the entire room. I was the night nurse when your sister was admitted. You came once? 20 minutes? You signed the financial waiver and left. I have the hospital log. The ballroom holds its breath. 200 people. Not a sound. Margot looks around the room. Every face, every pair of eyes. And finds nothing. No allies, no rescue, no script. She turns and walks out the door. The door swings shut behind her. The string quartet has stopped playing. Somewhere in the room, a single glass clinks against a table. That's the only sound. The aftermath, 38 minutes to 48 minutes. I stand in the middle of the ballroom in my navy dress, with 200 people watching me, and I don't feel what I thought I'd feel. I don't feel victorious. I don't feel vindicated. I feel like I just watched my sister walk off a cliff. She'd been building for years. Week 1, Millbrook PD formally charges Margot Sinclair Whitfield with reckless endangerment. Forensics is building the case for attempted murder. She's looking at 5 to 15 years. Week 2, Brett files for divorce. Doesn't call her first. She finds out when the papers arrive at the Colonial on Maple Ridge. Margot sat on the porch steps and read the filing twice. Then went inside and closed the blinds. Week 3, the charity board sends a letter, polite, formal, devastating. They thank her for her years of service and inform her that her position as chair has been transitioned. No one calls her. Her Instagram goes quiet. Helen calls me with the trust ruling. Margot's share is frozen pending criminal proceedings. If convicted, she loses it permanently. Your trust is secure, Helen says. I thank her. Hang up. Sit in the quiet. It doesn't feel like winning. It feels like surviving. The letter, 48 minutes to 53 minutes. A week after the gala, a letter arrives at my apartment. Handwritten, plain white paper, delivered by Margot's attorney. Because Margot couldn't bring herself to come to the door, I open it at my kitchen table with a cup of coffee. The letter doesn't say, "I'm sorry." Margot has never been good at those words. Instead, it says, "I didn't plan it for months. I planned it in one night. Brett told me he was leaving and I panicked. That doesn't make it right. But you should know, I wasn't always this person. 9 sentences total, no excuses, no justifications, no plea for forgiveness, just a flat, exhausted statement of fact. From a woman who finally ran out of performances. I read it twice, and I think about Margot at 15, the night my father threw a bottle at the wall, and glass went everywhere, and she grabbed me. I was 10, barefoot, crying. She carried me to her room, put headphones on me, and held me until I stopped shaking. She was a child herself. She was protecting me with everything she had. And then I think about Margot at 34, standing in a dark driveway at 11:47 p.m. with a $35 tool, cutting the brake line on her little sister's car because her husband told her to fix the money problem. Both are real. Both are Margot. I fold the letter, put it in the nightstand drawer, not the trash, not the binder, not somewhere I'll see it every day, just away, a thing that exists, a truth I can hold without opening the door. She wasn't always this person, but she became this person, and I can grieve the sister she was without forgiving the woman she chose to be. I close the drawer, finish my coffee. It's cold by now, but I drink it anyway. The ending, 53 minutes to 60 minutes. Friday night, Tessa comes over with grocery bags and a playlist. We're making pasta, she announces, kicking off her shoes. Grandma Frances's recipe, brown butter and sage. We cook in my small kitchen with the windows open and spring air coming in. Tessa chops garlic with total confidence. I stir the butter and watch it turn from gold to amber, and the smell fills the apartment. Warm, nutty, familiar. Grandma always said you were the strong one, Tessa says. I'm not strong. I just got tired of being the only one carrying the weight. That's the same thing, Acacia. Danny stops by, stays for pasta, eats 2 plates, and tells a story about a customer who brought in a lawnmower for an oil change. We laugh. A real laugh, the kind that uses your whole chest. My ribs only protest a little. Colleen calls to check in. June says hello. Biscuit misses me. I look around my kitchen. A cousin, an old friend, a nurse, a 72-year-old woman, and her cat. They're not the family I was born into. They're the family I found, or maybe the family that found me. My trust comes through on my 30th birthday. A Tuesday in October, $1.15 million. I use a portion to establish the Francis Sinclair Memorial Scholarship for nursing students at the community college. Grandma always said nurses were the only people in hospitals who actually listened. She was right. On a Saturday morning in November, I drive to the cemetery with white daisies, her favorite. I stand at her headstone with my hands in my coat pockets. I kept my promise, Grandma. I didn't let anyone, not even someone who shares my blood, make me feel like I deserve less than what's mine. The wind moves through the oak trees. A few leaves drift down, gold and amber, landing on the grass around my feet. And I think about all of it. The hospital room, the empty chair, the ceiling tiles I counted, Danny's photographs, Helen's binder, the white envelope at the gala, Margot's face the moment she realized I'd known everything for weeks and hadn't flinched. And I think about Margot at 15, putting headphones on a crying 10-year-old. I'll always carry that version of her. It just doesn't get to override the version that tried to kill me. I touch the headstone once, then I turn around, and I walk back to my car. Outro. So that's my story. I woke up alone in a hospital bed and found out the person I trusted most had tried to take everything from me, including my life. But I'm here, breathing, standing, turning 30 with a scholarship fund in my grandmother's name and a kitchen table that finally has the right people around it. If someone in your life is hiding behind the word family to hurt you, you don't owe them your silence. You owe yourself the truth. If this story meant something to you, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment. Tell me. Did you ever have to draw a hard line with someone in your family, or did you choose to let it go? There's no wrong answer. Hit subscribe. There are more stories where this one came from. I'll see you in the next one.